Back here on the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show. We're talking about pandemic. We're talking about the pandemic. We're talking about our kids. We're talking about learning. And in a commercial break, sometimes I tell people the best part of the show happens in the commercial break. So I told my panel of experts that I wanted to talk about these learning hubs that are popping up in some communities. Then I said, no, we're not going to talk about it, but let's talk about it. Here's the reality. Some suburban communities, some communities are spending a lot of money to create learning hubs for their kids while school is not in a traditional form, but they cost thousands of dollars. Are we creating yet again another set of unequal systems where some kids are having access to hubs and some kids aren't?
I can answer that. My response was, that's a yes. But that's also really nothing new, because those suburban, predominantly white parents have always had more resources and more information and more of an ability to exercise their school choices. So I feel like that's all that really is a school choice. And they're deciding to bring in whatever resources and extra things that their children need so that they don't fall further behind. Whereas with, a lot of Black families and the public inner city education systems, they're operating the way that they were set up to. So Black children are already behind, and COVID hasn't helped that. All of the inequities have sort of been illuminated. And so people are able to see them more, but it will continue to look different, right? In different areas and different neighborhoods, largely based on money and funding. And I was also thinking about the hubs, like a lot of them don't really need hubs because their districts are back in school. They have the physical space to allow for social distancing and those types of things. So their kids are still going to school every day. Now, whether that's a good or bad thing is sort of up for debate. But the bottom line is that gap, an achievement gap in education between Black and white students, will continue to grow, partly because of the hubs and the resources that those outer city schools are privy to.
Good points all the way around. So we got about 3 minutes left. What would your advice be? Because let's be honest, ladies, there's some parents out here that are pulling out their hair, that are feeling like, I can't do this. I'm losing my mind. I'm trying to work from home. We've had computer issues. We've had all kinds of issues. What would your advice to them be?
My advice, which I'm, trying to internalize and take myself, is to, number one, just give yourself a lot of grace and just remember that this is not a normal circumstance. Like what we're doing right now, I personally don't consider it homeschooling. If I was homeschooling, it would be different. I'm a virtual learning facilitator, making sure that my son's work gets done, right? So in juggling everything, just give yourself a lot of grace. And then also, I think what's helpful for me is just accepting that this year is going to be what it is. It may not be the best year, so instead of me trying to force a circle into a square and try to meet every single thing, I just kind of take it one day at a time, one moment at a time, and we create the standard together of what this year is going to be like and what's satisfiable for us as a family.
Okay. Anybody else?
I agree. I would say find something you and your children can lean into. So something that is not necessarily, of course, you're going to have to get this schoolwork done on the virtual learning platform of your school's choice. But what can you lean into? Is there a particular subject that you can lean into with ease, that your child has ease with, and expand on their strengths instead of focusing on their weaknesses? Because at the end of the day, like Medina said, this is not going to be a perfect school year if it's not what you're used to. So you really do have to find some ways to still be a beacon for your kid. Other than that, they're going to have a really, really bad year instead of just missing out on a few things.
And I'm guessing if you feel frustrated, you're going to pass that along to your kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say what Medina said about grace for ourselves. That's something new I'm learning, but also allowing, my daughter a lot of grace too has been helpful for all of us, I think.
Well, I celebrate all of you. I started this show by saying I'm glad it's not me. And I'm still glad it's not me, and I'm glad it's you guys, and you've done it all with a smile. So congratulations, and thanks so much for joining us today. You've shared lots of good information, and you've encouraged a lot of moms and dads out here that are trying to find their way through this. It's not easy. So thank you for all you do, and thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll check back with you in about 2 months. Hopefully this will be over by then, but just in case, we'll see if you're all still smiling. Thanks so much. We'll take a commercial break. We come back. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this voting thing before we go. All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.